So my goal now is to somehow transport coal. There's a bunch down here. I'm not sure if I want to produce and move. That's a good question. Not really sure how different it's going to be if I transport it from the north or from the east. Fortunately, the transport belts do not require electricity either. So it's a simple matter of just producing a lot of them and moving them a good distance. So with this guy, I gotta move it that way. And with him, up and over. This kind of puts a little bit out of the way. I'm not crossing something. I can use these coal patches to feed the smelt lines that I'm going to be using for pulling these resources out of the ground and for smelting everything. If I overtax it, right? So these guys are going to like require a lot of coal, and so they're going to start like really consuming all the coal patches here, and then I starve my system over here. Whereas I can kind of just pull in plenty of coal here. And 44 million, that's a lot. And I'll be able to tap those later, but I could pull in a really good amount of coal. Now the other alternative, which I didn't really think about, is pulling coal directly from here and straight across. About equidistant, a little bit less, but it'll be streamlined. And I might be able to save on that. Let's see. It's not equidistant, but it's somewhat close. So see, I can't move through these pipes unblocked. Squeak through mod allows me to just pass through them. It's very convenient. I'm not going to do that. It's a little too far away. It'd be easier just to kind of run a straight line all the way here and directly into that, and then I just build around it and then only put down inserters when I need to tap the line for it. I think what I'll do is I'll just pull from here. This will probably be the easiest. And I'll pull it here, up, over, and down. That requires a lot. Let me, should have been doing this before while I'm waiting and talking about all this because you have to keep your economy going, right? So I need to be constantly producing coal to feed these drills, right? Perfect. That will hold them for a while. Let's go and grab this. I'm holding control and just dragging the cursor across it. It gives me plenty to work with here. All right, so this is a lab. I produced this guy early on. I'm going to be placing him just kind of off to the center here. Make sure I have room. So I put him here because you do need an initial thing. And so I need to have an initial research lab so I can start researching technologies. But it requires power. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll eventually have some electric miners running vertical here and producing stuff that runs out here. I'm going to move him. I'm going to create my line. Now I kind of know where Need to create a lot of them. Okay. We're getting there. Let's go ahead and connect this up. There. Perfect. As you can see, coal will be running around here, up here, over here, and in. Fast replace direction. They added a bunch of new stuff that I'm not like super familiar with. I think a lot of it was some quality of life stuff, but I'll look at that later. So now, I'm gonna do 4. Did they add? They took away shoots. Oh, I bet that might be actually a technology. Maybe not. Really? Well, that's sad. Maybe it was something that, maybe it was a mod. I was pretty sure that in the base game. I mean, I just didn't realize it. So, well, there's a mini loader mod that's really nice, but I don't have to have it, though it would be nice. All right. So let's get this sorted out. Uh, this is what I want. So I'm trying to plan this out. I'll do that. So I plan it out so when I eventually get more of these guys, I can go stripe it there, stripe it down here, and so on and so forth. So let's... Close. I probably need to do that because I'm about ready to do what's a buffer called a buffer. So I think the head developer had actually talked about buffer chests, where you just place the chest down and stuff automatically feeds into it and then feeds out of it. But it's more like a mod. So the purpose of this is to, when stuff is coming in here, this picks it up off the belt, dumps it into the chest, and then this picks it out of the chest, dumps into here. Now, the reason we do this is because the power generation is not going to consume nearly as much coal as can be produced. And so I don't want these guys stopping because of backlog, right? Because it's just going to sit here and back up. Now I'll have a bunch of coal stored on the belt, and these guys will stop producing. What I want is them to continue producing and putting into here so that if anything happens, I have a buffer, right? So if these guys, um, if they exhaust what's underneath them, they'll stop producing, obviously. So then I have to make sure that I expand and move them around, and so more is produced. And in that time, I could have an interruption in power, then I have other problems. So now we have to produce a ton of these things. Now I have these things set up. I usually put right there, right there. So I have them set up like I'll be striping them down with a channel in between to put power. Produce there, there, and there. And I just hold it down and it will automatically do this for me, placing them just far enough away. One more and we'll switch sides. Right. Then we'll connect up right there. Now, now we have these things, they're all connected into this electrical network, which is going to be supplying power down to the coal mining extraction area. So now I have to seed the system. And the way you do that is by simply dumping some coal into it. I think I need more than one because it's going to be a little bit much. So we're going to feed it 50. We'll get it started. Let's see, I also would like to start producing some of these. So these are the science packs. There are a couple different kinds. You can see here if I want to research automation to unlock an assembling machine and a long-handed inserter, it's going to cost me 10 reds science packs, or just the automation science pack. You can see as you progress down the ladder, we come in contact with green. And I think there's, for military, there's a military science pack. And there's like blue and purple and yellow and science. There's a white one, which you get for launching a rocket. So so what happens is, yeah, this has been easier. You have all the different science packs. And each recipe you want to research requires science packs. These are modules to kind of alter how these things behave. So what I want is I want to first queue up a research. The first one has to be this. Or it doesn't have to be this, but I'm going to queue it up. This guy requires 30. I'll add him to the queue. And I think I want, yes, those guys. We want those and deal. Of course, that. Is there anything else I need or want? I don't care about lights right now. That's kind of nice, but it's not required right now. Yeah, let's get that. This will increase my inventory a little bit, which is nice. Those are a big deal, I think. Yeah, I think I want those. I'll need those to create the greens or to automate creating greens. This is probably, I mean, if you watch speedrunners and other people play, they'll have different, obviously, setups. This is suboptimal, but I think this will be good for now. It's a good start. So while it's manually producing there, I just want to make sure that I have this all set up. So this guy, the first one's going to require 10, 40, 70, 90, 140. I need at least 140 to get through a good portion of it. All right. I'm going to dump them in there. And now we have at least 10 in here, so it's going to be able to give me automation as soon as I start it up, which I'm going to do right now. I'm only going to do one. In fact, I'm going to turn this guy. That way all I have to do is do that, and it can activate. I don't want to, because I don't want to have, because these guys are going to continuously eat coal, consume coal, and produce power, but I'll be overproducing power, and these guys will still consume coal. So it's a overkill, and it eats up resources I don't have to, give into. So I'm only going to turn on one of them, And so this guy's going to produce more than enough to run 4 miner drills, that inserter, 2 more inserters for the buffer, and then this research lab. So I'm not really concerned about not producing enough, and I can just switch that guy on later. As you can see, I am now producing coal along these lines. So the downside here is that these guys do not move fast enough. These guys are going to be producing more than what can be taken in by the single inserter. So what I'll be doing is I'll be upgrading this guy to a fast inserter once I get to it, which will be right here. I need a lot more. So I need to produce that. This guy's got 38 coal, so he'll be enough for him to get fed. So now okay, how much am I producing? Not enough, I'm sure. I just got that. He's now working on the next one. He's got 222. There's 30. Let's see what that produces. So I got all this stuff queued up. Now I could have, that's kind of nice. I could have just had the assembly machines do it for me. But I'll get to that in just a minute. So the other thing I want to talk about before I end this recording is blueprints. So I have garnered over the years, maybe, I don't know how long ago, but how long I've been playing this game. I have a lot of different blueprints of stuff that I have found online or that I have designed myself. I'll be making use of these to produce, so like the smelt house like that is nice. This is a starter science setup, so this will be, all I gotta do is feed it copper and iron, and it will produce everything along with research facilities to produce everything I need. So some of these guys are a little more advanced and they'll be a while. This is a common one I'll be using. This is it's a very efficient smelting line. I can chain 2 of these together and I have to edit the top part, obviously, because this is the feeder. And then the rest I just kind of expand. And then the very last smelter on that line it stays a stone, and I can upgrade all of them to a more efficient smelter, the steel smelter. And by doing that, it will, and then having red belts on everything, it's very close to optimal for producing stuff with just coal. And that will get me pretty far until I can move to these smelt lines that I'm doing what's called a braiding underground belts, which we'll cover much later. But this allows me to mass produce a lot of iron plates through raw ore pretty quickly. It's probably not the most. It's not the most efficient. I know that, but it works. It scales. It's pretty good. So this one I found online. Uh, I think that one I designed myself. It's not great though, and it suffers from various issues. Um, Not good. That's the one I found online. Probably the most efficient solar array. Not that one. Not that one. This one. It's tileable and I think it's almost a perfect ratio. Yeah. So there's a mod that does little houses that takes up less space, and this fits inside of that, but it's not really necessary. Like some of those are missing. I'm wondering if something happened with the upgrade. These are really cool. So these are my sciences. I can just tile these down, and they'll produce all of these. All I gotta do is feed them, and they scale and they're tileable. So this will be when I get to that point. I'm not quite there yet. So we're still producing electronics. Running low on there. I'll feed it some more. Yeah. So I need to make sure that I can produce some science. I know I want to put my, well, let's see. I don't want to put my bus that way. I'll put my bus to the west. So here is where I will be producing my science and research. Let's put it down. So it's a starter. I have not really kept up with a lot of this. Computer science. But this will work. All I gotta do is produce. I'll put them right here because I think I can. Well, I gotta be careful. So I need to create smelt lines first. I think I'm gonna put the smelt lines here and here. I'm only gonna do two. So let's get those guys sketched out. Small smelt. That's what I want. Do that. So the blueprints, if you get construction robots later that will just make this happen. But for now, I have to do it this way. This at least puts it down, and then I have to run through and actually put this stuff in place. Which requires a lot of furnaces, so I'll get started on those. This will be my smelt line. I'll be starting out with, I think, iron first. Let me deposit the science packs into the research facility first. There we go. That way won't have an interruption there. I'm pretty well backed up here with coal, which means that my wooden box is not full yet, but it will be. So once you can see it's backing up, eventually it'll back up all the way back here, and then it will fill this entire thing. And see, this is the problem. This thing is not full. This guy's moving way too slow. And so these guys are no longer producing, waiting for space in destination. It's not what I want. So that's why I need to have a faster inserter. But I can't do that till later. Okay, so this is going to be my copper smelt line, and this will be my iron smelt line, so I'm more concerned about getting these guys off the ground. Excellent. Okay, I was going to say it better be working. Okay. I'll actually be reversing these guys, I think, because I'm going to be producing coal and running it this way, so I'm going to leave these things in here because I'll be adjusting them a little later. I'm only going to focus on one smelt line at a time because you can very quickly exhaust your resources trying to get it all up at once when really you need to focus on getting one line up at once. So I'm actually focusing on just this top line, and that will produce enough iron for me to then build the rest. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now I have to reverse several things here, which I don't have yet. So I need this right here in order to produce the underground belts and the splitters, and that's what makes this all run. So I do have to wait for the fast inserter to accomplish. I don't know how many I have left here. I don't think it'll be enough to finish. We're not halfway through, so I'm probably gonna need to produce more. Requires 20. Yeah, let's do that. All right, well, I need to stop it here. So 1.1 main. All right, thanks for joining. Hope you'll join me next time.